Hello, and welcome to my living room. I'm Kathleen Hirschner. The man I'm going to talk with now reminded me that we met 2 years ago in a kitchen at a party, and that we actually sang together. So I'm going to try to jog my memory with my guest today, Tomás Gordo Guerra. Welcome to my living room.
Thank you very
much. It's nice to re-meet you.
Re-meet you, of course.
As opposed to meeting you. Because you reminded me in the hallway that we actually had met before. And I looked at you and I said, I recognize you for some reason. You're like, that's because we met at a Christmas party.
Yes.
And I have vague memories of that will probably come back to me the longer we talk. You are a person who is familiar with Richard Vaughan, who's the president of Vaughan Systems, because you've been his victim for, what, 5 years?
For 5 years.
Wow, there should be some kind of graduate degree that you're offered, or some sort of accolades or admiration that someone gets for lasting for 5 long years.
But I enjoy going there.
You must. You go every week?
Every week.
To the radio?
Yes, every Tuesday.
Were you on television with him when he did his TV show?
No, I wasn't.
No?
No.
So this is your first time?
It's the first time on TV.
Ever?
Ever.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you're a man who, Tomás, is kind of caught between, not caught now, but you were kind of caught between two worlds. Because you were telling me before we started the show that you actually worked in IT for many years. And you don't strike me as a person that would come from that sector. You seem like an artistic, sort of creative person. Is there room for creativity in IT?
Well, I've always been in the world of music.
Really?
Because I wanted to be a singer when I was a child. So a friend of mine and me were singing all day.
Were you a good singer?
No, I'm not. I decided to stop because I realized I couldn't sing.
Okay.
So I am a listener of music during all my life.
I wonder if you could be a professional listener. I wonder if somebody could, you could probably get paid to listen to music if you were like an executive for a record company. Because, you know, don't they have to listen to new artists all the time and decide who's going to be the next superstar? Or who's saleable, who's not? So you were a frustrated musician who went into IT probably because it was to
live.
To pay your bills. I suppose if you are in IT and you work in computer programming or develop computer games, there must be an area where you can use a lot of creative energy.
Yes. But I did it because I need to pay the mortgage and all those things, you know, to live. But I don't really like the world of computers.
But you probably know it pretty well.
Yes, I know.
Well, what about musicians that use technology to not only compose music but also to create it?
Yes. Well, I am the manager of an artist, and I dedicate part of my life only for him.
Really? What's his name?
His name is Fama. His real name is Fernando. He started to sing, then he acted in several films, and now he's writing books. He's a writer.
Really?
Yes.
So he was well known during what era? I mean, I apologize for not knowing who he is, but Americans often don't know much about the Spanish music scene.
Yes.
Unless it gets to the United States.
Yeah, he was very famous in the 80s.
In the 80s. What type of music?
Well, he has a very special voice because he's a man, but he sings like a soprano.
Really?
They call these kind of voices sopranists.
Sopranists?
Sopranists. And there are very few all over the world.
It's probably highly unusual for a man, a full-grown man, to have a voice of a soprano.
Yes.
Obviously young boys often sing in choirs and can sing quite high. Or then we had the famous castrati, which were the Italian people who had to lose their testicles to sing high.
Yeah.
Kind of an extreme measure.
Terrible.
I don't think I hope that's not practiced anymore. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I hope not.
I think it's forbidden.
Good.
Yes, in
That's
fact.
creepy.
Yes.
But Fama is a natural soprano.
Yes, he's a natural soprano.
He doesn't sing in falsetto. He
No.
actually sings in full voice as a
Yes.
soprano.
That's his first voice. He has a second voice, it's a man's voice, but for him it's more difficult.
Really?
Yes, and now he's preparing a new record, and the producer said, you have to use your second voice, but he's not comfortable.
No.
You know?
So you act as his manager,
Yes,
or maybe his agent as well?
his agent as well. But I prepare everything when he's going to have a performance or a show. I prepare his books for the publisher, and I do everything for him.
So you basically are not only a personal assistant, but you book his gigs,
Yes.
I suppose, and
Yeah.
you go on tour with him as well?
Yes. Now, as he's writing, we don't travel as much as we traveled before.
Like did he used to travel all over Europe, all over the world?
No, we went only for a festival in Venice once, and we heard they were waiting for him in a Spanish festival in Hollywood, but we couldn't go.
Oh.
Because his first film was a great success here in Spain, but also in America.
What was the name of his film?
The name of the film is Mikkel's Death.
Mikel, M-I-K-E-L?
Yes,
Mikel's Death.
And it was a Basque film, very famous.
I've heard of it.
Yes.
This is an interview with recovered memory. I'm trying
Yes.
to remember meeting you, and now I remember this movie.
Yeah.
Mikel's Death.
Death, and it was very successful in New York, in Hollywood.
Was it an independent film? I mean, was it or was it Spanish funded or Basque funded? I mean, was it about was the character Mikel a Basque character?
It was a film in the 80s where Spanish cinema was growing, and it was very polemic because they took social problems, and in this case, the homosexuality mixed with politics. So it was very polemic, but very brave. And at that time,
Well, at that time, in the 70s and 80s, things in Spain were not quite as quite as open-minded as perhaps they were in the United States or other parts of Europe. How was it received by the Spanish population? Did it open their minds a bit to think a bit more like, okay, this thing of homosexuality is not such a big deal?
well,
You know,
that time it was very. It was the time for Spain to open
La
their
movida.
mind. Yes.
Right.
So it was a very good film. They didn't have enough money to do it, but even though it was a great film.
I'd like to see it.
Yes.
I'd like to see it. What would be the easiest way that the viewers who are listening to this, if they haven't seen it, apparently it's famous, but a person like me, can I find it on the internet? Do I have to?
I think so, yes, you can find it. You can find the information, and if you want, I can give you a copy.
I'd love that.
Yes.
We can trade copies later.
Okay.
I've watched a few movies on YouTube, which it's probably not something that the film production companies like or the promoters of films like, but you can watch a film on YouTube.
Yes.
If you're willing to watch it in parts.
Yes.
Like
Online.
Yeah, you watch like 10 minutes and then you have to go through and find part 2, part 3. A lot of people have done this.
Yes.
But the more I think about it, the more I've heard of this. Of course, living in San Francisco, as I
Yes.
did for many years, we had lots and lots of international films come
Yes.
through. So I'm sure that's why it rings a bell. Well, let's go back to your work, I guess your work as a personal assistant for Fama. He's writing books now.
Yes.
So are they books about his life? Or
Well, the first book was a kind of biography. The second one was cuisine, because as he's Basque, he's a great cook.
I'll bet.
Yes. So next one were tales from the part of Spain his parents born in the north of Navarre, where there are a lot of witch tales.
A lot of like ghost stories, tales of witches.
Yes, witches and those kind of mystery things.
Yeah, the Basque part of Navarra.
Yes, the Basque part.
The parts of the Basque Country, and I've only been a tourist to these places, but parts of the Basque Country and parts of Galicia seem to be so wrapped up in supernatural things and tales of.
Yeah, that's the third one. So then Erotissimo, which is stories about sex, but in a funny way.
Funny eroticism.
Fun. Yes.
I like that.
Yes, because some journalists asked him, why do you treat sex so funny? And he said, because for me, sex is very funny.
It can be funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the older you get, the more you're willing to embrace the more humorous aspects of sexuality.
Yes.
When you're young, I think, due to inexperience, everything is very serious and passionate. But I think as you get older, I know this has been true for me, not that I want to divulge too much information, but it does seem to be, there is room for laughing and having fun with it. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Playboy magazine, which is known more for its photographs, but actually has very good stories and is also known for its journalism, believe it or not, has a lot of very funny stories about sexuality.
This is very, very funny. You can, if I can give you a copy too.
I want the book. I mean, I want the Mikel's Death, and I want the book of funny erotic stories.
Okay.
And are they in Spanish?
In Spanish.
That will inspire me to improve my Spanish, because there's nothing like motivation to make you want to read in another language. Now, you're very motivated, Tomás, to learn English. And you told me before we started that that's because you want to learn English. And you don't have to learn it. You don't need to know it for your work with Fama.
No. Well, sometimes...
Well, it comes in handy.
Yes.
I suppose. But you're probably pretty motivated. I would imagine that you read in English as well.
I read in English, but for the moment, his books are in Spanish. We don't know in the future they can be translated. Not
all books can be translated, I think. Not all subjects, like maybe eroticism, maybe yes, maybe no. It depends, I suppose, on how he writes.
Yeah.
But I think there are some things that just can't be translated very well. For instance, a friend of mine's a very well-known writer in England and in the United States. She writes mystery novels based in World War II, England and France. And I asked her once about having a translator translate them into Spanish. And she said, Kathleen, it just won't work. The stories are written in English and they need to be read in English. And because of the characters, Cockney characters or French, you can't translate that into Spanish and make it work.
It's difficult. But, well, then he wrote the first novel, and now...
The biography?
No.
Oh, a novel?
Novel.
Okay.
Novel with characters, but based on his life as well. Since he was a child, what he sees, and he made a story. He changed names.
To protect the innocent?
Yes. But that one is very funny, too. The fourth one, the first novel. Now, in July, or perhaps in September, the new one is going to be published, and he is writing a new novel now.
Good heavens!
Yes, he's all day playing piano, writing the book, and doing things.
I mean, I regret that I don't know who he is, because it's strange talking about a well-known celebrity and not having any idea of who they are. But he sounds like an amazing person with a lot of creative energy.
Yes.
Does he wear you out? Does he make you tired being his manager?
No, because I'm very active too, and we work together.
Right.
I mean, and in my house, the piano is all the time playing because he needs more than 2 hours playing every day.
Practice, yeah.
Because he's studying singing.
Oh, really?
Bel canto or classical.
Well, now, does he, I had a question I was going to ask you about him regarding his energy and his output and his creative impulse. Well, has his career, his second career as a writer, been as successful as his first one as a performer?
Well, not for the moment. I mean, his books are in the libraries,
Right.
in the book fair,
Right.
everywhere, and the publisher is well known. I mean,
Can you want to?
yes, the books are selling very well.
Okay. Does he speak English?
No, I mean he can speak English, but he's always studying.
He sounds like the kind of person that would be a lot of fun to interview. That's why I asked you that question, because
Of course.
I've interviewed maybe thousands of people
Yes.
by now. I lost count a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I find that while every interview has its own benefits and its
Yes.
own interest, the people that have a lot of creative energy are really fun to interview, because
Yes.
the interview just goes all
Yeah.
over the place. It
Yeah.
never is focused
Yeah.
on one subject. I mean, we've been focusing on him a bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to talk more about you.
Well, he's a great talker. I mean,
really?
Yes, he can. I mean, he can speak English even with mistakes or whatever. But as he's so expressive and he has so many things to tell,
Yeah.
I think it would be good to have you here.
It might be kind of an interesting experiment, because I've actually spoken about this on the radio before, how I can interview somebody with a fairly low level of English,
Yes.
and we can still have a successful conversation if that person is expressive.
Yes, of course.
Because if you're expressive and you're face-to-face with someone, it's a bit
Yes.
difficult on the phone, although I've tried that as well. It's a lot easier to
Yes.
communicate. In fact, when I lived in Chile, I didn't speak Spanish at all, and I still don't speak well, but I couldn't speak at all.
Yeah.
And I spent the entire weekend with a family of 4, 2 children, the mother and father. They didn't speak any English, and my Spanish was non-existent. I didn't even understand Spanish, and yet we made it through the whole weekend feeling like we were connecting and communicating.
Of course.
I had
Big-
a phrase book. You know how they have those translation books where
Yes.
that they make for tourists?
Yes.
Like, please,
Yes.
can you tell me where the police station
Yes.
is? And so I played a game with his kids, and we would like say these lines in each other's languages and crack up and start laughing. It was quite funny
Yeah.
and silly.
Yeah. But sometimes you can communicate with people.
Might be interesting to see if we could get through that. I don't know. You can talk to him about it.
Yes.
See what he'd have to say.
Yes, I think he was pleased to come.
Okay.
Because he's been on TV a lot of times,
Yeah.
of course, singing, acting, and
Well, he sounds kind of like a person who's not afraid to try new things, so we could have an experimental
yeah.
interview. And I could
Yes.
say, look, we're going to have an interview today. It's a little bit unusual,
Yes, of course.
but we could see how it goes. Now, aside from the bulk of your time that I suppose takes up being a road manager for
Yes.
Fama, what other things are you involved in for yourself?
Yeah, well, I was an aerobics teacher.
Really?
Yes. I had to quit because I had a problem with my back.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoyed very much doing that.
Did you teach at gymnasiums or?
Yes, I taught the course of aerobics teacher. Besides, I read the future. This is not a job, but it's...
Really?
Yes, I read the tarot cards.
Really?
Really?
I want to talk to you later.
Yes, of course.
Are you getting any feelings from me right now, Tomás, about my future?
Well, I
You
see
picked
you...
up any psychic energies?
Well, I see you like a star. I don't know why, but you are a star.
You think so?
Yes, I think so.
You think I have stardom in my future?
Yes, of course.
More money?
You already...
No. I always refer to myself as sort of a low level, like bottom feeder
No.
celebrity, but
You have your own light.
you think so?
Yes, you do.
Ooh,
Yes.
Well, I've never had my cards read. Now that could be a fun experiment. You can read my cards for me. I know friends that do this. I have friends that go to have their tarot cards read. I have friends that go to psychics.
Yes.
I have friends that go. I have one friend who is off the charts interested in astrology.
Yeah.
I mean, she calls people in the United States. She has special hour-long consultations. She's a very ardent believer in this.
My way of reading cards is not using a bowl or something like this. It's very,
I'm looking into my crystal ball.
yeah, no, mine is very technical.
Really?
I mean, yes, as I am a cold person, I read the card.
You're not a cold person.
No? Well, more or less.
You
but
might be analytical.
Yeah.
That's a bit different
yeah,
than being cold.
analytical. I read the very technical way.
I like that. My friend who's into astrology, Virginia, she says that astrology is actually very mathematical. She said people that think astrology is full of bunk or it's crazy, they don't understand that it's actually based on mathematical computations of the alignments of planets and stars and the solar and planetary energy on our bodies and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm open-minded.
I love horoscopes too. I mean...
let me, do you know anything about me?
Yes, of course. If you tell me your horoscope.
Do you know, can you tell what astrological sign I am just by talking to me?
Just talking to you.
What would be your first guess?
Well, I'm not sure.
Don't, just a guess.
How many chances?
I'll give you
3?
I'll give you 3. No, I'll give you 2 because there's 12 astrological signs.
12.
I'll give you 2.
Okay. First, I'd say balance.
You mean Libra?
Libra.
No.
No.
But the second one?
The second one, I say Pisces.
No, but you're kind of close. I'm a Gemini.
Gemini.
But you're close in 2 respects.
Okay.
One, Libra is the sign that is the most compatible with Geminis, supposedly. So Geminis are always supposed to get along really well with Libras.
Yeah.
And most of my friends, I would say 70% of them, my close friends, are Pisces.
Are Pisces.
Yeah, they're all involved in the arts.
Yes.
They're all one is a jewelry designer. They're all have a lot of artistic energy. Let me see if I can guess you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say, I kind of think you're a Scorpio.
No, I'm not.
No? I get one more though, right?
One more chance.
Sagittarius.
No.
So we're 4, we're 0 for 4.
I'm going to give you some...
a hint.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Earth. The element is Earth.
Taurus.
No.
Is that Earth?
Yes, it's...
Okay.
It's
well, Leo.
No, that's fire.
Oh. I don't know. What is it?
Virgin.
You're a Virgo.
Virgo.
So your birthday's in September.
September.
What day?
The 12th.
September 12th.
Yes, it's...
And you'll be 35 this September.
Yes.
And I'm going to be 32.
No, I'll be 30.
30?
Yes.
Yes, I think that's similar to how I'm going to be in June.
Yeah.
I really am. The older I get, the more open-minded I am about things that are not so traditional, like traditional medicine, traditional ways of thinking. And I'm more open to thinking about the part of life that we don't really tap into in our conscious mind.
Yeah.
But that is probably having an effect on us.
I think the general things of every sign or horoscope.
Yeah, every astrological sign.
Yes, always coincide. Coincide, yeah.
They're all kind of connected in
Yes.
some way.
If you find a person who is Earth, can be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn.
That's right.
They have something in common. Even if you find people of fire element, and Gemini is the opposite of
We're
Virgo.
air.
It's air.
I think we're air signs. We're out of air time. Unfortunately, our program has come to an end. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Okay.
Tomás Gordo
Guerra.
Fat War.
Fat War. That sounds good in English.
Thank you for coming today. I've enjoyed
Thank
this. And thank you for tuning in to another conversation in English here in my living room. Adios, hasta luego. See you next time.